Okay, let's talk Padre baseball. We are now 2 weeks out from the start of the Major League season, and there are question marks a lot of different places. Obviously, the Austin Nola injury, getting beamed in the face with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, has to be a real concern. Very, very severe broken nose. They had a terrible time stopping the bleeding. The intangible thing that I worry about is concussions, because he took it square in the face. He never had a chance to get out. Luckily, it deflected a little bit off the flap, but right into the nose. We're waiting for a medical update, probably in the middle of the week, as to where he is, but I assume he goes on the disabled list for a chunk of time. It means the Padres are going to have to turn the catching deal over to the young kid, Luis Campusano. He's had cups of coffee with the Padres. I don't think mechanically he's a complete major league catcher yet. He's going to have to really learn on the job. And, of course, the other thing with catchers, they got to control the game. They got to call the game. They got to deal with the pitchers. Campusano has not had a ton of major league experience doing that. Pedro Severino, the ex-Oriole, will probably be the backup catcher. Geez, at this point now, do you think they miss Jorge Alfaro? Do you think they wish they had not traded Austin Hedges? I mean, you really need a leader and a tremendous guy to run the game from behind home plate. So that's an issue. The Juan Soto situation, he has been red hot. Soto has just had a phenomenal spring with the Padres and then with the WBC. Then in an inter-squad game on Sunday, he comes out of the game with an oblique injury. Now, they're calling it a minor oblique injury. Because, John, you have to understand the power of his swing and the torque on his body in the rib cage. I don't think there's anything as a minor oblique injury. These things take time. It's not like you can have it on Sunday and be able to go to the batting practice cage on Wednesday and be ready for opening day. This takes time, and we don't know the severity of it. And as he gets ready, for the start of the season, you're talking about full power swings. You're talking about the force you put on the body. And if you got an oblique injury and you damage it more, that's horrendous news. I mean, I've followed players who've had minor oblique problems. They were gone 10 days. I've followed players that have had it gone 4 months. So only time will tell how they handle this. And I think, they know, and they have to be scared about that situation. The pitching staff. There's been a lot written out of the Cactus League about the fact, Darvish has hardly pitched at all for Team Japan in the World Baseball Classic. You think he's ready to take the ball on opening day for the Padres against the Rockies and deliver vintage Darvish? Media guys covering the Padres say we're really concerned. They're concerned. I don't know. Darvish knows the science of pitching, knows the science of preparation. Even though he may have only pitched 4 innings in the WBC so far, I still think his preparation has been his preparation. I think he'll be ready to start on opening day. So I think that's much ado about nothing. The Joe Musgrove story is something about something, because they have brought him back from the Cactus League. They've done a research piece with video on his mechanics. You and I talked about when he first got hurt, the scariest thing, coming back from a toe injury for a major league pitcher. Does he favor the injury? Does he change his mechanics so he doesn't aggravate the injury, but he hurts something else? They're trying to do a study there. Bob Melvin is of the opinion now that even though Musgrove has been throwing bullpens, and bullpens is really different than throwing max effort opening day, Musgrove's going to miss at least 2 starts. The Adrian Morejon situation, it's scary. He's got inflammation in the elbow joint. He does not have a torn elbow ligament, but within the elbow joint, again, we go back to my word, max effort. When you're pitching max effort, you're putting a lot of stress on that elbow. I don't know if he's had a cortisone shot yet. If he does have any type of injection, then we're talking at least 2 weeks shutdown. Then he starts the throwing program again. I would think Morejon might wind up on the injured list to start the season. And we're dealing with typical Blake Snell. We have a good outing, and then we have an outing in which in the spring training he gives up 7 runs in 3 innings. He might be your opening day starter. And do we know which Blake Snell is going to show up? The guy that had the horrid first half of the season, the guy that was pretty doggone dominant the second half of the season. So all of a sudden, there's a lot of storylines here 14 days out from the end of spring training. And I don't think the Padres have had a really great spring training, but that's because their roster has been chopped up by all the guys that went to play in the World Baseball Classic. The batting order in the last 10 days of the Cactus League will be their batting order, maybe without Juan Soto. I still think they're going to be a really good hitting team, but I'm concerned about the pitching situation, and obviously you got to handle the Soto thing with kid gloves.
Yeah, and this is really difficult right now. We have all this hope, all this excitement, and all of a sudden, one by one, we're losing guys here and there. But we always know with pitching, you just need a lot of arms, right? You're never going to have a 5 or a 6-man rotation. You're going to depend on 8 or 9 guys to get you through the year. But I'm going back to that Austin Nola hit in the face. I mean, that was brutal. And some guys, they don't come back from that. I remember Tony Conigliaro. I mean,
we had eye damage.
Well, it was much more severe, but guys get hit like that. It kind of spooks them, and it may kind of affect their confidence in the box. So I'm worried for Austin. I'm hoping it's not going to be as bad as it looked, but that's not something to take lightly.
Well, the concussion factor from the location where he got hit, that really worries me because that was such a forceful blow. And I guess to a degree, he's lucky he did not shatter the orbital bones or he didn't break his jaw.
Yeah.
Now you can devise a mask that some catchers wear and goalies wear it in the National Hockey League that protects those areas that have been injured. But you're correct about the word gun shy, I think is the word that you're looking to use as it relates to Nola. So we'll see there. On we go.